Welcome back, everybody. Michael O'Connor here, Doctor of Physical Therapy. Today, we're going to be reviewing some strengthening for the shoulder. One of the things you want to make sure is that you do your stretching before you're strengthening. So, take a look at my videos on the overhead flexion stretch, the pec stretch, and the hand behind the back stretch. The shoulder can be quite challenging, and I loved working with this joint. It was somewhat easy for me as a physical therapist to mobilize it. But once it's moving better and you've been stretching it at home, then it's time to strengthen it. Today's exercise is going to be called the low row exercise. It is a great strengthening exercise for your shoulder for two basic reasons. Number one, you have to train your shoulders how to stay back. There's so many impingement or pinching problems in the joint itself. When you train your shoulders through strengthening, then the natural sitting position will be more in the retracted or shoulder blade back position. The second thing is this exercise is incredible to help your upright posture. So let's get into the details. Let's briefly review how to set up your resistance bands and the door anchor on the hinge side. Whenever you're setting up elastic bands, resistance bands for any strengthening exercise, make sure that you utilize the hinge side of the door frame. This is really important for safety, and the door cannot swing open if the latch is not secure. So when you're on the hinge side, that's going to be the safest place for your door anchor. So remember, just place the door anchor through. You can adjust the height of the door anchor based on what exercise you're doing. Today, ours is going to be about waist height for our resistance exercise for the shoulder. Then you just slip the handle right through the door anchor and make sure it's snug. That ensures safety and makes sure that your band's not going to have any problems as you're going through the exercises. Let's get right into the exercise. So first thing we're going to do is notice that I am setting myself up shoulder width apart on my feet, and the band is about waist height on this exercise for the low row. There are three essential things that I want to do. I want to train my body in neutral spine position. So my abs need to be gently tight. That takes the excessive curve out of my low back. So abs tight. The second thing I do is I retract. I bring my shoulder blades back just a bit so my shoulders are back. And the third thing is I have my neck in a neutral position. I call it the small double chin position. That position right here, abs tight, shoulders back, neck neutral, puts my spine in neutral alignment. That's ideal for strength training the body. Notice there's a slight bend in my hip. My knees are soft, slight bend in the knees, and my feet are again shoulder width apart. Remember, strength training is going to train my posture and train my body. That's why we want ideal alignment. On the pulling of the resistance band, that's called the concentric. It's a shortening of the rhomboids, the muscles between my shoulder blades. That's called the concentric part of the exercise. As I release the exercise, as I release the bands, that's called the eccentric. It's a lengthening of the same muscle group. Really important when you're doing any type of strength training. Make sure you're focusing on the concentric and the controlled eccentric. You will get so much more out of your exercise when you focus on both. We often see people exercising focus on the concentric and forget about the eccentric and just let the band whip back into position. So again, concentric, and notice the forearms are parallel to the floor in line with the band. If it takes me 2 seconds to pull the band back, it should take me 3 or 4 to have my arms come back into the straightened position. So concentric, 2 to 3 seconds, eccentric, 3 to 4 seconds. Maintaining that neutral spine position throughout here again, and obviously controlling my breathing, never holding my breath. Some of the parameters for strength training. Remember, strength training is completely different than stretching. So we're going to do higher repetitions. If you've never done this exercise before or it's been a while, 2 sets of 8 or 10 repetitions is ideal. There's that 2 to 3 second pause in each of the repetitions, and ideally 3 times a week, maybe 4 if you can. Slow and controlled is absolutely the key for this exercise. And once I build my repetitions up to uh, possibly 2 to 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions with the same elastic band, once that becomes easy, then I know I can increase my resistance band. So the goal is to step up the exercises so you keep progressing and retraining the muscles. One other side note, these are elastic bands. They're basically large rubber bands. When you're done the exercise, don't just let the handles go. It will slingshot the handles toward your wall, and you could possibly put a hole in your wall. So make sure you control the bands down. Just a side note. Couple things to avoid. First and foremost, as you know, I'm obsessed with neutral spine positioning. If you're in a rounded position, that is the position you're training your body in. I do not recommend that as your training position. In the second example here, you'll notice my forearms are not parallel to the floor. I'm actually bending my elbows, so that makes me use my bicep muscle a little bit more. On the bottom example, I'm extending my elbows. I'm starting to straighten them, which makes me use my tricep muscle more than I should. If you're using your biceps or your triceps, you're not isolating your scapular muscles. And again, you won't get as much benefit out of the exercise with that. So make sure the forearms are parallel to the floor. The last example here, I call this water skiing. You can see I'm leaning back here. You'll see this a lot when you use too much resistance. Your body weight actually starts pulling on the band. You don't want to water ski because remember, these are elastic bands. They can snap. If the band snaps, you can go flying, and that could be causing an injury. So make sure you're not water skiing. Maintain neutral spine throughout this exercise. All right, I hope you enjoyed the shoulder low row and postural exercise. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and put a comment or two. I like hearing what you have to say about these videos. And also, I understand that some individuals will need more attention than just these online exercises. If you'd like to work with me more directly, take a look at the description below. I'm expanding how I'm working with individuals one-on-one. So again, take a look down below and see if I can help you. I'll be glad to work with you. We'll see you in the next video.